Brain tumours are the biggest cancer killer of children and adults under 40. But in Jersey, some patients say they're not getting the help they need. They claim there's a lack of support for those living with a brain tumour, especially since the specialist cancer nurse who once helped them wasn't replaced when they resigned a few years ago. Chris Craddock reports.
Looking for someone in the islands who can answer some of their most pressing concerns.
All the questions that you need to know the answers to be able to move on and start living a normal life again. We don't have anyone here who can do that, and it's just not good enough. There's just such a lack of care, and it's not just me who's going through that. You know, I've been away from my business for almost a year now, and it's been difficult.
It's enough stress as it is for me, my wife, my children. And not knowing what's going to be the next course of action or what the plan is, it brings a lot more stress upon us as a family as well.
The Jersey Brain Tumour Charity has long supported people like Sophie and Elvis and has seen the need for better care and support for years.
Unfortunately, Jersey used to have a cancer nurse specialist who was responsible for people with brain tumours. She resigned about 4 years ago,
maybe. Be about that, yeah.
And since then, there hasn't been anyone in place. So I think that's where we're hoping to persuade the government to bring somebody in.
We're going to a formal working group that's going to include the charity, one or two people that are affected by this. We're going to bring all the right parties together and start making collaborative decisions as to how we handle this to improve matters. That the budget, if it goes through, will give us quite an uplift in a number of areas, and we can possibly utilise some of that in this instance.
There's been a steady rise of people diagnosed with a brain tumour in Jersey in recent years. Campaigners want more support for them.
I'm hoping by us speaking out is going to help them to improve the system a little bit more.
Chris Craddock, BBC Channel Islands News, Jersey.
A senior Jersey politician is calling on Deputy Philip Ozif to resign after admitting in the Royal Court he broke the island's immigration laws. Ozif's previous suspension from the States for driving offences ended today. And while the committee overseeing States procedures won't be suggesting a further one, Deputy Malcolm Ferry says others could. Ultimately, he says, the next steps are in Ozif's hands.
The best thing he can do now is reconsider his position. And I think if you ask the average member of the public, you know, what do they think should happen after breaching the immigration legislation in this way, I think most people would feel the same way.
Guernsey police are investigating after what they describe as an insensitive sticker was put on the Jewish memorial in St Peter Port. Since removed, they think it happened sometime between Saturday evening and Monday night. Authorities are asking anyone with information to come forward. Now, Guernsey's government has unveiled its 2026 budget with a focus on stabilising the island's finances. But while the numbers may be serious, Guernsey's top politician has called it a budget lacking excitement. Our political reporter John Fernandez paints a picture of what it could mean for islanders.
Guernsey's top politicians didn't want to brush anything under the carpet when announcing this budget.
It's not very exciting, but it is necessary. So I don't think there's anything particularly surprising in it. There aren't any measures that people were probably not expecting.
Those behind these proposals admit they're not the most thrilling. Comparable, really, to watching paint dry.
The 2026 budget is not the right vehicle for anything radical.
So what's actually in PNR's budget? Tax on petrol is going up by 3.7 pence per litre, while on a pack of cigarettes there's an increase of £1.12 on average. Policy and Resources want a new tax on vapes as well, £2.20 per 10 millilitre of vape fluid, while property taxes are also going up for domestic and commercial tenants.
I would like to have seen TRP on rented town or commercial properties frozen or being lower than empty buildings. Something to encourage landlords in town to fill their buildings.
Politically, it's landed positively, with many presidents complimenting the work by PNR. However, not everyone is convinced.
Well, it's not leaving every stone unturned that was promised, and it's not the 1% savings that was promised by Forward Guernsey. And in fact, we're going to have to liquidate £115 million worth of assets just to fund our planned expenditure next year.
For those who voted 3 months ago looking for support, some welcome news.
A £600 increase in personal income tax allowance is a measure that I hope will help individuals and households and families across the island, because we know times are really, really tough.
The real canvas of Guernsey's financial future isn't being crafted today, though. A review of the big pots that P&R can paint from is underway, with a decision expected on whether there'll be a GST or higher corporate taxes, or maybe a mix of both, before June next year. John Fernandez, BBC Channel Islands News, Guernsey.
Let's get a check on your weather now with David. Thank you, Charlie.